What's up, everyone? Sean Count Blagrith here today with a rant, discussion, and as you can tell by the video, kind of an open letter to suicide silence. Um, so before I get into the open letter portion of this video, people have been asking for my thoughts on these new songs and the new album. I couldn't make it through the new album. Um, the songs I don't like, but I will say I enjoyed Silence more than Doris or Dying in a Red Room. I feel like Silence, I could understand what they were going for with that one, and the chorus actually did feel a bit more powerful than the one to Doris. But my big gripe with the album isn't the production like a lot of people have been griping on. I understand that gritty sounding production, that 90s sounding production is something they went for, and that's cool. I listen to black metal, so I obviously have no gripes with shit production. And I feel like it actually worked, and in my opinion, if Suicide Silence would have used that sort of production with an album like The Cleansing, it would sound absolutely insane, and I feel like it would bring deathcore back to a place that it should be. But I digress. Here we go. Dear Suicide Silence, I understand, and by the way, just a quick side note before I really get into this. The band has been saying that they've been reading the comments and shit like that in the video, so I'm gonna assume that maybe Eddie or someone will see this. So, anyways, dear Suicide Silence, I have a gripe. And my gripe doesn't really have much to do with the music, it has to do with your fucking demeanor. Now, I understand you guys wanted to do a shift in sound because you don't want to be repetitive. You don't want to be stuck in a rut that a lot of other bands get into where they're constantly rehashing shit and then the fans complain. It's really hard to keep a style like deathcore new and refreshing consistently. But you need to understand something. Deathcore fans are not these group of mindless trogs that only want 230 BPM blast beats and huge breakdowns all the time. We are open, and I'm going to just speak generally for myself. I'm open, and a lot of deathcore fans are open to the idea of bringing something new to the table and embracing it. There's a lot of bands that have done shifts in sounds, such as Carnifex. Carnifex doesn't really sound like the same band that they were when they released The Diseased and Poisoned or Dead in My Arms. They're a lot different now. They're much more bombastic. They're a bit more black and a bit more evil sounding. Not as brutal punch you in the face, but more of a trying to create a certain atmosphere. There is certain steps and directions you can take the genre and make it sound good. Saying that your fans only wanted one type of sound from you guys is absolutely fucking absurd. And the fact that you guys are throwing well established, well respected bands under the bus because they have stayed true to their sound, haven't really deviated very far from what they started with, as being kind of selloutish is kind of fucked up. And specifically to Eddie, when I saw All Shall Perish in Syracuse, back when you guys were on the Black Dahlia Murder Cannabis Corpse tour, local radio station made the mistake of saying Cannibal Corpse was the opening band and not Cannabis. And I remember you said that you would never play after Cannibal Corpse because you respected them way too much. What happened to that respect? Saying that it's kind of selloutish of them to stay true to their sound? That's unbelievably hypocritical. And the thing that really bothers me the most about this, you're only saying this shit because the fans aren't liking what you're spoon feeding them. And the reason why you don't like it, that the fans are not enjoying it, is because you have put so much work and effort into the album. that is completely understandable. I know I would never want to release an album that I put my heart and soul into for people to be like, this sucks. I wouldn't. I plain and simply would hate that. And I would definitely want to defend my sound, but to go as far as you guys have has been completely ridiculous. I mean, especially with Alex with the Facebook comments, is absolutely dumb. And the thing is you guys could have gone in this direction over the course of time. And there have always been the new metal elements throughout the career of Suicide Silence. The Engine Number 9 cover during the Cleansing era. Big, big, big influence on you guys. I understand that. And probably their influence cannot be overstated. But at the same time, I feel like if you would have introduced this sound slowly over the course of a couple records, your fans would probably be a bit more open to it because their ears would be adjusted to, okay, here's a little bit of clean singing, here's a bit more new metal, here's a bit more new metal. But no, instead, you drop an entire record of just straight up new metal. And then you wonder why the fans aren't eating it up like you want. Get your shit together. Quit throwing shade at other bands because they have stayed true to their sound. So going after Thy Art is Murder is absolutely insane, especially since a lot of the Thy Art fans are divided by Infinite Death and Adversary versus Hate and Holy War. I personally am a Hate and Holy War guy, but a lot of people like the early stuff. That right there shows that they did an evolution in sound, but it was very subtle. Subtle changes within a genre are fine, but when you completely abandon the genre you're in and then take a shit on the other bands that are prominent within the genre and even outside of your genre is absolutely insanely stupid. And it disappoints me because even though I haven't really been a Suicide Silence fan since No Time to Bleed, I wasn't a big fan of the Black Crown. There was a few moments here and there that I really liked, especially on Slaves to Substance. And I think it's Witness the Addiction, if I remember correctly, with Jonathan Davis from Korn. I really liked that song. It was a very powerful one. I didn't like You Can't Stop Me. It wasn't my thing. But I respected what you were doing. And this, I can't respect. I seriously cannot respect the music because of the people behind it. And the people behind it are acting like a bunch of children because people don't like what they're delivering. And this is absolutely and utterly wrong. And just my opinion on this is accept the fans don't like it, quit trying to justify it. And the thing that's insane to me is you guys have been justifying this album before the whole thing was out. I've never seen Damage Control like this, but instead of doing Damage Control, you're making it worse. Let's face it, you have released the modern era Cold Lake from Celtic Frost. This has been considered to be one of the worst albums in metal history. And the only reason why it's considered to be that bad is because of the band's legacy prior to that. And your legacy cannot be understated or overstated about your influence and impact on deathcore. And then you go and release something completely fucking different. You have essentially did what Celtic Frost did, where they went from being a black death thrash metal avant-garde pioneers in metal to being a glam hair metal band. You did the modern day version of that by going from overbearingly heavy, obnoxious deathcore, which I was completely fine with, to being a band that sounds like a tribute to the 90s. And even by those standards, it's like not even second rate, but third rate tribute to the 90s. And I'm going to say this, if you guys are truly proud of this album, and this is something you guys really like, more power to you. And I'm glad that you enjoy the record. And if anybody that's watching this video genuinely likes the album, that's awesome. And I'm glad. It's just not for me, and it's not for a lot of people. But when you start to create a fan base around a specific sound that you guys basically pioneered, to being a shell of your former selves, is when there is a problem. And for me, that's where my problem lies. Is you completely abandon your fan base, and then you basically gave them the finger and gave the finger to countless other bands that helped pave the way or have been pushing a genre in the right direction. I guess that's all I have to say. I hope some of you enjoyed this video. Give me your thoughts down below on this whole debacle bullshit situation. And if anybody in the band sees this, I mean everything I say, and I truly hope you guys, are happy with the record. The fans aren't. But please, for the love of God, stop shitting on your fans and stop shitting on other bands, because they have remained true to their fans and true to what the fans signed up for. But with that said as well, there is the argument of artistic freedom, and by all means, do whatever you want, but don't be surprised when your fans don't like it, and don't lash out at other bands because they haven't taken this insanely huge step into a different direction that you have. But those are just my thoughts. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.